Welcome back to the channel, people. On today's video, we're going to be doing another Jujutsu Kaisen character breakdown, the god of gags, Fumihiko Takaba. So let's get this video rolling. Imagine a world where the strongest villains can decimate reality with the snap of their fingers. Now imagine a failed 30-year-old comedian in a half superhero, half naked costume walking into that battlefield and winning simply because he thought the joke was funny. This is Fumihiko Takaba, the comedian sorcerer of Jujutsu Kaisen. While characters like Gojo and Sukino rely on complex physics and ancient malice, Takaba operates on the rule of funny. Today we're breaking down the hidden death, the bizarre real-life inspiration, and the terrifying reality-warping power of the man who refuses to take the apocalypse serious. To understand Takaba, we have to look at Japanese pulp culture history. His design isn't just a random choice by Gekkei Akatami, it's a direct homage to a famous sketch comedian character from the early 2000s called the Centerman. Played by Tanzo Harada, the Centerman's whole bit was about being perfectly fair, but his definition of fairness was a 7-to-3 ratio. Sound familiar? This is the same ratio used by Kento Namiri, but where Namiri is the professional side of the ratio, efficient, cold, precise, Takaba is the performer side, chaotic, loud, and entirely unpredictable. Akatami is essentially showing us two sides of the same coin, the tragedy of the working man and the comedy of the dreamer. But let's go even deeper, because Takaba's power only makes sense once you know the man behind the red nose. At 35 years old, Fumihiko Takaba was a complete nobody in the Jujutsu world. For over a decade, he chased the dream of becoming a professional comedian, grinding open mic nights, bombing sets, and slowly watching his confidence rot from consistent rejection. He was lonely, broke, and starting to believe he had zero worth. Then, in his 30s, cursed energy finally awakened inside of him, not from rage or trauma like most sorcerers, but from the pure desperate need to make someone, anyone, laugh again. Gekkei Akatami made him a deliberate late bloomer, proving that your curse technique doesn't care how old you are, it cares how badly you want to connect. That loneliness is the hidden fuel behind every absurd gag he pulls off. Takaba's curse technique, simply named Comedian, is arguably the most broken ability in the entire series. It allows him to manifest anything he finds funny into physical reality. If he thinks it's funny for a truck to materialize out of thin air, it happens. If he thinks it's funny that a lethal attack does 0 damage, he becomes invincible. The catch? He has to truly believe it's funny, and he cannot know about his own power. If he becomes aware that he is using a curse technique, the logic of the world returns and he becomes vulnerable. This makes him an unconscious god, a being who reshapes the universe based on his sense of humor without even realizing he's doing it. In literature and mythology, there was an archetype known as the Fool, or the Jester. Historically, the Jester was the only person in the king's court allowed to mock the king without being executed. Why, you might ask? Because the Jester existed outside the social hierarchy. Takaba fills this role perfectly in Jujutsu Kaisen. When he faces Kenjaku, a 1,000-year-old mastermind, he doesn't care about Kenjaku's grand plan for evolution. He only cares if Kenjaku can land a punchline. By forcing these ancient, serious villains into comedy routines, Takaba strips them of their power. He proves that evil often relies on being taken seriously to function. And what makes Takaba different from other gag characters is his heart. He isn't just a joke, he is a man who desperately wants to make people laugh to heal his own loneliness. You know, while doing research to make this video, I found some comparisons between Takaba and Joker, especially from his origins, the Red Hood comics. Like, they were both trying to be stand-up comedians. Unfortunately for Joker, you know, it didn't work out for him. He falls into a bad crowd, Batman shows up, he gets into the vat. But Takaba just instantly formed his, like, reality warping powers, and when you see that, you just start thinking, like, this is Emperor Joker. My first thought, it was like, imagine if Takaba fell into the dark humor, like...
How'd you get that shiner, Mrs. S?
Well, it's not what you think.
She walked into a door. You know, walk, bam!
Like, oh man, that's Emperor Joker. This dude's OP. I mean, I guess any reality warping power is OP. But I guess what makes him a little different too is just where his comedy comes from and how he perceives comedy in general. And we get to see this in his battle with Kenjaku. We see a deep dive into the philosophy of manzi, traditional Japanese stand-up. Takaba realizes that for a joke to work, there has to be a connection between two people. His power isn't just about making things happen, it's about sharing a moment. This is a massive symbolic shift in a series defined by selfishness. While Sukuna preaches that true strength is stepping over others, Takaba's strength comes from wanting to entertain others. Also, in the way Takaba is written in the story of JJK, he serves more of a symbolic contrast role adjacent to other characters, highlighting the key differences in their abilities' meanings in the story. For example, if we compare Takaba to the character Angel, the contrast is fascinating. Angel represents the law, using biblical light and Jacob's ladder to enforce a holy order. Takaba represents the absurd, using a red nose and slapstick to ignore the order entirely. In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, cursed energy is fueled by negative emotions, like fear, anger, and grief. Takaba is the only sorcerer whose power is fueled by something positive, joy. By introducing him, Gege suggests that the ultimate counter to a curse isn't a stronger curse or a holy light, it's the ability to find humor in a dark world. Gege didn't just throw a gag character into a dark series for laughs. Takaba is the living proof that joy can be stronger than any curse born from negativity. In the manga full of trauma, loss, and characters who weaponize their pain, Takaba weaponizes happiness. He's the thematic opposite of Sukuna's philosophy, strength is solitude. While everyone else is trapped in a cycle of hatred and revenge, Takaba is out here trying to end that cycle with a dad joke and a clown nose. That's why he feels like he walked out of a different story, because he did. He's the reminder that even in the middle of the apocalypse, humanity still has the right to laugh. And in the end, the refusal to take the world too seriously might be the only thing that actually saves it. Fumihiko Takaba might be wearing a ridiculous outfit, and his jokes might be lame by modern standards, but he is living proof that the strongest weapon in any universe is a perspective that refuses to be broken by fear. He's still out here somewhere, probably doing stand-up missions between cursed executions, making sure the new generation of sorcerers remembers to smile. He is the comedian sorcerer, and he made sure the end of the world at least was a little bit funny. What do you think? Is Takaba low-key the strongest, or is he just the universe's favorite plot armor in a clown suit? Drop your hottest take in the comments, smash the like button if Takaba deserves his own spin-off, and subscribe because we're diving into more hidden JJK gems next. Thanks for watching. Now go make somebody laugh today. See you in the next one.